Oh boy. Let me unfrickety-frack the frickin' Twitch thingamajig, because it's being a little wonky. Oh my god, alright. Taxes are frickin' in to my guy. I edited about 300 gigs of footage today. I'm very happy. But now I have to build, I guess, the KOG magnum opus. And I genuinely am trying to figure out how I want to do this. Time to get the markers out. I'm gonna give them the choice of if they want to air assault this or ground assault it, but I'm gonna prep it either way. Because this one's gonna be too framey with the amount of villages around it. This one's just right.
Send in Goat Team 6 now.
But this is gonna be interesting. Hey, Platts. Oh, righto, man. I remember we messaged about that, and then I got buried by 3 projects collapsing at once, and I had to go fix that. Well, thanks for the 41th resub, my man. I wish you luck if I have time. Shoot me a message about it. I'll see if I can join you for it, but we'll see. Nonetheless, hope you keep enjoying the ops. Hope your re-debut goes well. Hope you get a nice kick out of this. I did get in a bit of trouble, Cole. You're just going to see a lot less RC from infantry, but for drones, you're going to continue to see the same amount of RC, so... Rada. Okay. Let me look at the terrain in all positions. Defensive trench. Samara communication site. I'm literally gonna label all of this out and see what I can do. In terms of where I'm going to be building my trench lines and where I want to collapse everything. Tactically, that area is going to be tough to put a trench line on. Oh, Daisy was fine. Have a good night, Platts. But yeah, technically this is gonna be my last KOG op that I know of, because again, my Saturdays change. I've offered for them to take me on for Fridays, but they said they would let me know, so I'm treating this as my last op until I'm told otherwise. Alright, there needs to be an SPG-9 right here. But alright, let's get to work. Alright, we're gonna take those trenches first. Because I really do like how these blend in with the terrain compared to the other ones we have. It's a good balance of frames and utility. Plus the bends add a little bit of protective cover. The trick is that I'm going to have to curve it. So for now, let me grab this, and then all these need to be applied locally. And I need to add a bunker on the corner as well. So actually, I would prefer one with bunkers integrated. I'm gonna throw that aside. This is a little too long for my taste. So we do have a corner piece out right there, so let's put the end there. Let's fold this inward so it's like that. And we can add some additional fixed gun trenches like so. And that would give a local heavy machine gun right there. Now the trick is, how do I build a line on there? And that one I would want to be a bit smaller like this piece. Patch, I messaged you that I'm not available Thursday, right? Just want to make sure I didn't imagine that. Actually, I'm going to want to flip this. So you got the fortified one, yep. We'll fold that in a bit. And then I'll bring up that defensive back there. And then theoretically that should be good. We're just gonna want to clear the trees on that side and keep that corner open. Okay. From there, we're gonna want a utility trench up here. Now, the real trick, though, is folding this in properly. I think I accidentally, yeah, put that on 45. That should be 15. So, set it up like so. Dash it out like that, and that'll give us another gunned area. The issue is I actually have no actually, no. I do know what I'm going to do with that. It's just going to take a little bit more custom work. Alright, so that's set. That's set. Here is a confusing one. Because I don't know what to do with this space. I mean, it points to, like, a depot, but... you know? Now, there's a very specific mod I want to pull from. I just have to find it. It's not that one. I'm looking for it. It's not that one. So it'd be fun to pull some of this stuff. Warehouse wouldn't potentially be a bad choice, but we'll see. Just the color of this building is kind of off for the theme. But no. Where is she? No, that's a different map file, which isn't really usable. Oh, flubber nugget. I don't know where it is. Looking at this mod for... Oh, I just clicked out. Yeah, I don't need the custom buildings. I do appreciate that it does have fields to make stuff out of, but no, gosh darn it, where is it? This one. This one. Okay. Yeah, so I want... Not the forest pine, yeah, the green grass. Alright. Grab the deforming textures again. Okay. So that's gonna be for some central positioning around, but let's get the outer trenches done first. I would also like a checkpoint made. We have one right here. I could build it in. We could also make it like an artillery position out of that area. That wouldn't be too bad. And then I can combine it with another... Yeah, with one of these. That's what I'm thinking we'll do down here, is we'll make it vehicle storage related. And call it a day. I think I'll leave the deformers till the end. Nah. Yeah, this one's a 10 meter because of how big the map is. Now we're just gonna micro the terrain. Just tap it down, check the butt. Should be fine nonetheless. It's okay if it has a little bit of extra. Then I can just smooth it out if I want to raise the back of it like that. Just so I can then smooth it properly. That's what I've learned to do, really. Not that it really needs it, that's just extra work on my end, but that's fine. So if we're going to tie it into this area... I could have sworn we had... I just saw Fluffers up for a second. I'm like, oh, that bitch. Also, remind me to put him in the map. I'm putting him in. It's my final op for these guys, from what I know, until they move me to Friday, which they haven't confirmed yet. So, final Saturday from me for a while. Definitely putting Fluffers in somewhere. And I'm making a config of them. You know, artillery radar wouldn't be a bad call. Except we need to make sure we're not using the desert ones. But that put right there and maybe like 1 or 2 fighting positions around it, I think would be a pretty decent call. And then we get a little bit more camo netting for some additional space. I just hit the enter key on accident. I think that opens up the camera. Whoops. But I'm thinking this is probably going to be a 2-hour dev project, maybe 2.5 hour to get the assets all down. Another hour to build AI garrison. And then a day of waiting to give them the 2 options with a plan of here's what you're going to be fighting, here's what the enemy have, here's what we're doing. They're going to be an immediate QRF force to an airport that has just gone dark, status of friendlies unknown, and we'll play it like that. So they can either do a heli landing in, or they can do an immediate vehicle QRF with, and I will stage them there or, you know, there, but I still need to let them have their airfield for their own aircraft anyway, but that's the plan. I'm going to smooth this terrain out over here with the deformer. Yeah, that strength should be a little lower, but that should be fine. And then there was a little bit of bump up right there, but I'm going to be honest, it's okay to have a little bit of room. I can just use a smaller vehicle there, and we can have some additional vehicle storage here as well. Actually, we'll keep the sim. I'll just make sure the vehicle's too small. So we need a fighting position like right here, and then another fighting position right there, so... Okay. I'll have to look at manually. I think if I look at Woodland, I think they have some... It has to be military, though. Doi. Because I want it to be the, you know, Arma 2 camo stuff. I feel like it's going to be a better fit. Yeah, so some simple bunkers... Those are the small ones, though, and I don't want to do cargo posts either because it's just a bit too much. But I don't mind this little camo net setup. I think it's actually kind of adorable to make little hard points out of that. And then a little hard point here. And again, the primary focus is going to be the trenches, but, you know, for stuff like this, there would be little, you know, hard points set up. Plus, this is meant to be a more static hard point anyway, so, I mean, that and a little bit of debris around here and there, and then I'm going to layer it off with some grass cutters. Which I'm not going to do in the trenches. I want to keep that grittiness in there, but for the actual static positions, I want it to look like, you know, it was cleared out and disturbed. But technically, you should have them in, but whatever. Make it work either way. So that should be fine. The checkpoint's going to be the interesting one, not gonna lie. I would love to incorporate that building, though. But I'm going to need to use the smaller HESCOs for that. my sandbags too. Alright, so we can set that up, and then I can set a curving sandbag piece out. Again, it's going to be the small choice of details here to help determine where I put the firing positions. Do I really need to do all that extra work? No, but I choose to. So yeah, that as a fitting thingamajig, because here's the thing, with a big air AO like this, you know, running anywhere between 60 and 100 players, the real difficult thing is going to be figuring it out how to balance this properly. We're probably going to have 60 to 100 AI down. I spelled Hainer wrong again, didn't I? But I'll be making some custom changes here and there. And then a little bit of ZEI templating here and there just for some infill. And, of course, it doesn't detect it because why would you? Alright, hold up. No. We're not getting away with that. Where's the vanilla version? I think it has... No. No, because there's a vanilla version of these giant-ass Hainers, but I'm seeing the cup version. I think it's these then. They just have that weird modded symbol on them because screw me. Weird choice, but okay. Put it slightly off to the side. Alright, we got a slight rotationary bug. That is not how you fix a slight rotationary bug. Oh boy. Literally jerking my fingers here. There we go. Let's put a quick ZEI template in this. Yeah, I can turn that into a little command area. I mean, that's fine. That's more than perfect. Now, the really tough part here is I'm gonna need some administrative buildings. I'm gonna keep them vanilla for the sake of just having some simple templating done, but this terrain is gonna make that a little difficult. So we'll put it right here. It goes with how you doing. realign the sandbags because they can be a little wonky out here. Make sure none of the stairwell pieces are floating. Could put a little outer defensive trench line here, but I'm going to use these instead. Because we're going to have... That's going to be an issue. I would love to put a tunnel network around here. The one issue we're going to run into is these decals are going to wrap to the road. So there's no way I'd be able to put a decal over the based ground level. So if I deform the terrain, it's going to make the road go under it. So I'd have to either completely purge the road, which then wouldn't work because you have it on the map. So it's not going to be viable, unfortunately. I probably shouldn't put a tunnel on a runway for obvious fucking reasons. I could put it in here instead, and I could have one of the tunnel... That would be doable. Notice the little bump in the ground, though, so it's going to have to be a really deep tunnel. And then I could put some fighting positions around on the outside and make, like, a connected bunker aspect. That could work. But this would have to purely be a tunnel, which has its own challenges. So if we're going to do that, I need to pretty much get this and sync it to all of these pieces. Cool. Yeah, right, it's not Takistan. Northern Takistan is the map with the military bunker made under the runway, which is really, really cool. I've never had the opportunity to make a Zeus mission out of that area yet, though. That's on my to-do list, probably over the summer. Now we're gonna have the fun task of trying to make this all work. I just want to get realignment done properly. Alright, so about 65 for all these pieces. I have a question. Just viability-wise. So in order for that to be done, it would have to, like, have the textures really hug each other. Because these are the fake ground textures, and then we've got the tunnel textures, which I think are over here. You got another cover texture there. But theoretically, if we're working in 90-degree patterns here... Oh, wait, no, that goes up on its own. Okay, right. That's why I couldn't piece it together last time, I forgot. So those would just be themselves. And then that doesn't sync up on its own either. Okay. So it's very difficult to line all of this up proper. So what we would end up doing is making a sync texture over here. And then having to make a tunnel entrance out here. And then simply put, this would just have to be deformed. So I'm going to raise that. Okay, actually, let's collapse that into the ground. The one issue is we're going to have to start leveling it, and that's where it's going to be difficult. So how do we want to do this? I think we'd want to sink it to one position out here and just turn this into a bit of a tunnel frame. Or we can just make it an instant ammo cache. Set up some entrenched positions around here to fight over with sandbags. And then we just turn this into a corner cache with... Oh, God. Hi. What are you doing up? Yeah, go ahead. Bloodwing's downstairs. She's having trouble streaming. Or sleeping. Alright. So what I'm thinking is, let's do one more point out here. Let's turn things... She's a little touch-starved, too. She's leaning on my chair. Let's then have a left and right turn, and let's create some ammo caches in here. And then this can be like just a off-the-map caching position. And then we might not even have to go down this hill and deform it up. And we can just have this be like a little hidden bunker spot. And we can actually put a few more of these around the map. Like we could put one over here as well. And we can just make a lot of these little dead-end positions of where the ammunition would be stored. Because think about it this way. If you are on an airfield, the safest place to put the munitions, especially for the aircraft stuff, so we could put a bunch of aircraft munitions for some texturing and whatnot in that little trench line. And then we could, since this is going to be the mortar artillery area, we could also put some artillery shells in there. We can theme it differently. It's going to add another hour of work, but it could work. Now, the one issue that I have with longer tunnels is the obvious of you can metagame them pretty easily on the map by spotting where the map's deformed. I'm just looking right here, you can see, and there's no way to get around that. That's just how the game is programmed in the limitation. Even if we were to do it without deformer and just have a map set that way, you would still see that little pit on the ground, so anyone that knows how to read a map would obviously see it, but still. Okay. So I think there's only T intersection stuff, and then the way I did it, I used airport crater textures to stop it because there's very limited textures. There's a T, there's a four-way, and then there's a little bunker here, but there's no like end piece, so you got to get creative with that. So if we're gonna do our first idea, what we're gonna want to do is find that T piece, which is here. Line it up as best we can, especially on the surface, because otherwise you'll be able to see through stuff. So we're gonna basically sync it all together, and then we would immediately need the storage rooms. I'm gonna be honest with you, this is probably gonna need... We could stretch this out, actually, and have a second entrance out here then. Because for tunnels, for balancing reasons, I always like to have at least two entrances. But for something like this, if it makes sense, then we can sync it out a bit better, but we can totally just... I don't know why I just made that mistake twice in a row, but... So this will be our dead end. I'll put an aircraft crater texture in there. Oh, and I agree, OctoKid. That's why I'm going to be putting multiple things down that are like this so I can at least guarantee most of the player base will see it. But I mean, first time I did this 2 weeks ago, the trench I think was only cleared by 2 squads of, and it totaled to about 8 to 16 men out of the literal 90 people on the server. And granted, that's also partially on me because I was kind of just testing to see if the server could handle all that stuff, but you have to understand, like, they're not gonna... Not everyone's gonna be able to get to the fun and fancy custom stuff, and that's okay. It just means you can do a similar concept again, and it's not going to get as bland with your player base as you'd think, because they're gonna wanna try it again, you know? So we're gonna have to dead end it right here because you can see that it's now gonna go into the road, and we want to keep that road set. So we're gonna have another thing right here. I could put a third entrance, but I want that to be like a dedicated storage position. But this is going to be our first trench, and I'm gonna deform it first and then texture it. Sorry, I'm balancing between editing and petting Bloodwing's head because she's a sleepy little noodle. Alright. Now here's the really tough part. I have a size limitation here of 10 because this map is, I think, a 20 by 20. So the bigger... Actually, it's a little bigger than 20 by 20, but the bigger your map is, the smaller... Or no, the larger your minimum area editor gets. And this is true with Bulldozer because this, you know, deformers an end run around Bulldozer, so it uses some of the same features that Bulldozer has. So any limitations we have at this point are just limits based off of the game's code itself. And what I mean by that is it's going to be a little hard to get this done properly. And that why did that deform? Flubber nugget. That's fine. I'll make it work. It's deforming because that's an actual map terrain asset. I can just replace it. Worst comes to worst. Hey, Yoshi. I have no idea why the bitbot is dead, but it's dead. See, we're just going to slowly clear it out, but at the same time, you're going to notice that it's going to get a little awkward on the edge here. So I have to then go on the edge and just kind of smooth it out, which unfortunately is causing the terrain to kind of slope. And it's just going to take a lot of micro changes to do that. I really wish I could set this thing into a freaking square. That would make my life a little easier, because then I could specifically get the positions that are being a little wonky. Alright, let me try the other way of just raising shit. And then you can curve it inward. You just gotta make sure that these two things are toggled so it doesn't mess with it, but yeah, now you got this space out here. I'm gonna be honest, it's only taken me like 2 missions to kind of figure out how to properly go about it. Learning this was a pain in the ass for those 2 missions, but yeah, it just takes a little bit of commitment, like pretty much anything else in this game. And then, of course, you gotta go back and... You can also smooth it underneath as well. That helps with the smoothing on the side. But worst comes to worst, I can just stack another one of those dirt textures and it'll be fine. Then little spikes like that aren't going to cause too much of an issue. But let's go back to deforming. I think the real difficult thing is going to be getting these ammo caches, so I might let some of the area get buried here, because if I try to get every little piece out, because this is a 10-meter range, it's going to really start carving out the side, and I just can't. That's not going to be doable for me. Yeah, and then we got this area out. You okay? So I'm just going to raise that a little bit and then realign. Do you want to get a chair? You can sit with me if you want. All right. Love you, baby. All right. Now we're just going to smooth it out a little bit. Look at it on the surface. And then little things like these, unfortunately, like you can spend another 5 to 10 minutes smoothing it out, but it's not gonna change much. And then, you know, if you get it well enough, you actually don't need to deform anymore. But, you know, it's basically just a lot of messing around with the damn thing until you get it to the level that you want. But yeah, there's still some little micro editing I'm trying to do here. And again, just with the sake of the brush, the size of the brush here, there's just not really much I can do about this little corner. And at this point, like, I'm either gonna put a bush on top of it or just hope it gets overlooked. And then we just, I'm tapping the button, by the way, I'm not holding it down. Because if you hold it down, it's very easy to then accidentally overdo the action. And you want to just keep moving your cursor forward. And I found for the bigger brush sizes that you're forced to use, that's just the best you can do with it. And then you notice there, I'm going to have to raise that texture. I did notice that that was dipped a little bit as well. I could set the height, but I'm gonna be honest, I haven't had a lot of luck with the height set module because it gets you in the habit of, okay, like, how do I explain this? It gets you in the habit of, oh, okay, I can set the height and be done. But the thing is, you'll start then getting in the habit of immediately, like, just holding down the button and getting the entire area deformed. And it'll start, because you're not lightly tapping it, you'll get more area taken than you actually want. And then you're going to spend more time fixing the outer sides because all of this will be deformed down. And I'm going to be honest, it's a bit of a pain in the ass to fix it from that. So I just prefer the tapping method. Now, there's other instances where setting the height is really, really good, like when I had to smooth out that airfield in the previous week map. That tool was invaluable for setting that properly. It's just annoying because once you get to the map border, it doesn't let you use it because it's the map border, and at that point, the map stops rendering information. So you're kind of stuck with it at that point, but alright, now the fun part of, I'm gonna over-raise it just so I can then tap. Yeah, it doesn't matter on the map until I need to lower it a little bit for that sake. But if the rest of it stays smooth out here, then we're good. So I'm using Control 4 because I feel like it smooths it out a little bit better. 3 will really smooth it out, but I feel like that is a little more sharp. So I prefer the Control 4 instead of the Control 3 function for smoothing. The strength of Control 3, it's just, it immediately doesn't let you spot check. So this is going to take a few attempts to brush out. I do want to smooth this road out, though, because I don't want there to be any bumps. Yeah. I completely effed that up. And then the undo key I don't like because sometimes it just completely messes with everything. It's funny though, because tracking this on the map looks like all sorts of jank. And we want to try to basically fix it so we don't have this little bump right here. And then try the best we can to preserve these little side rooms so we can store munitions in there and whatnot. And again, this is going to single-handedly take more time than every other part of the dev, I would say, except for the garrison work, because you can be very particular about that if you want to. But the deform work is going to be the toughest part compared to everything else combined, with the exception of the exception I just stated. Yeah, that's gonna be tough. Because normally I would just fill in with the dirt texture. Wait, I might have an idea. Wait, this might actually work. It... Wait a minute, I might be onto something. You have a sideways texture. Yeah, so we just have to line it up so it cuts in. Yeah, there's gonna be a little bit of that, but if we tweak it properly, we'll only have that little edge of... Yeah, and there's no way in hell someone's gonna notice that. Unless you actively, like, point it out and say, yeah, that's there. And, yeah, I mean, if it was a smaller brush stroke, I could fix that. I could easily fix that. But the bigger ones, it's just too much. Which is where Deformer kind of loses points on like a 40v40 map. Like, there's just... Deforming is such a pain in the ass in that. But that fixes it. That fixes it easily. Alright. Then you really want the terrain to be lowered on these corners, otherwise there's no room to really do what you need to. Leveling that off. There's no climb out texture here. That's why I forgot to copy that. Okay, hold up. I'm like, why is that so low in the damn ground? Oh, that's why. Oops. Yeah. So... Now we're Well, I don't have that in the other one, right? Or did I just spot check it and call it a day? No, oh, okay. Yeah, no, I kind of do. So let's just grab our magic frickin' fixer. You just don't want to always do this, which is why I guess for some of the other areas this is going to be tough, because this is basically adding the equivalent of like a few trench textures, which doesn't seem like much, but it will be once you start going through stuff. And I'm also worried about its hitbox size. But I think it's because so I actually cheated with it a bit. I synced it to the edge of the airport bunker. So the airport bunker is basically covering one side of it. But I think I'm just going to need one texture on each side to cover this properly. And you got that. I mean, that I'm just going to freaking fix. Just again, that's the issue you run into. Alright, now let's do a check on the road. Yeah, it's fine. Alright, let's go ahead and save this file, because we've actually been working on it for about 50 minutes, and I'd hate for it to go, you know? Octo, I don't think there's a way for me to paint it. Plus, would you really want to hide the trench as much as you can? Because I'm going to be honest, there is a solid chance that the player base might not find it if you hide it well enough. I mean, I always have players miss intel that's right in front of them after I tell them, hey, there's going to be, you know, intel in the mission, and they'll still miss it. So, you know, maybe you don't want to hide it super hard, because, you know, the players aren't going to find it then. So, you know, leave a little bit of evidence to make them think, yeah, there's probably a trench here, but, you know, where's the entry point? Because the terrain feature then gets covered by this, so they don't know where it could potentially be. But this is going to purely be a storage trench with maybe 4 dudes down here for munitions for aircraft, essentially. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about where I say I cheated, because this would normally, you can see the little opening right here, but because it's covered by the side of the airport hangar, that's really smart. If you're planning on using deformer, use that method, broski. It'll save you. So we have trolleys here. I can't spell trolley right, apparently. Oh, there's an E. So we'll just write troll. We have a lot of physics objects. Here's my question. Are these... How do they clear the corners, though, Liru? Ukrainian magic. Look, technically I'd have ways to make smaller storage containers and whatnot, okay? But unfortunately, I'm limited by the assets at my disposal, okay? So if you're gonna ask me a technical question of how does it clear the corner, fuck you, they put an empty one down and then they just move the missiles one at a time. Alright, this is literally just to keep the ordnance underground where it can't be hit. And, fuck you. Alright, I'm limited to what I can do here with the jankiest tools imaginable, alright? Just let them see that there's underground weapon storage here and go, oh, that's pretty neat. Or, oh, shit, you know. Here, pallets. There you go. They use pallets. Don't ask questions. Please, alright? If AAA companies can get away with their bullshit, I should be allowed a little bit of leeway, alright? If a AAA company for Call of Duty will tell you, hey, the Germans had PPSHs in frickin' D-Day. That's what the Germans used to defend from the Americans.
Send in
PPSHs,
Goat
smile.
Team 6
Alright, if they can do that,
now.
I can put frickin' bomb
Can
cards.
I request chat at this point to be added?
We can't put Chad in there. Because Chad is identifiable by his Bermuda shorts. And it's not gonna be... Here's what I learned. When I did the false flag thing on Sunday or Saturday, last Saturday, and I got yelled at for it, rightfully so, mind you. What came out of that conversation was they really do value the PID ability on the units. So I can't do anything to really fuck with the PID. Okay? So I'm not able to do it. I'm sorry. That's just how it's gonna be. Okay, here, but I can also... We can put a smaller frackety-frack. But Liru, the bombs are kind of clipping in the corner. Okay, yeah, but so do AAA games, alright? It's fine, it's just for show. I can put a dude right here and go, haha, look at him. Okay, a little bit of dirt caved in on it. I'm sure it'll be fine. No, I'm not adding him as a civ on a military installation. Okay, but boom, there you go. Let's get the rest of these outer trenches made. And then go back to working on deformer stuff. I'm just trying to think here. All these are going to have to be individually checked again. The real question I'm going to have, though, is how the hell am I going to set up AT proper for this shit? Yeah, and then when you copy and paste large compositions, you got to individually check all the frickin' items. You can do them in layers. But as you see, if you do a little too much, then things get a little messy. Alright, now we'll just go up the trench here, make sure everything's set proper. If I need to rotate the bunkers. That one could use a slight rotation. Nothing too big, though. It's fine. Just want to make sure it's clear of trees as well. You got the command bunker back there. You got some openings. That's fine. Yeah, this needs to be fixed, for example. Way off. Yep. No, okay, we'll keep that one facing outward. Alright, cool. We're gonna need to do some small curves. I could also use these as artillery positions, but I've got some other ideas for already. I want it to be a bit more open. How you coded the portals for the gate op? I literally used Drongo's... No, I used Dewako Stalker-like anomalies, and I used the portal anomaly. And I keyed, I think, 5 different portal anomalies in there to the gate. I didn't do any fancy coding. I'm not about that, broski. I ain't doing that. There's an easier solution. And I'm making everyone download a mod in order to do that easier solution. Why? Because I'm lazy. If there's anything I learned in college, it's the laziest coder has the most fun at work. And they're not wrong. The gate campaign died? Well, I got burnt out from it because we spent a lot of work on that like third mission, and it got done super quick and a bunch of other stuff broke, and at that point, I didn't feel it was worth it for my time to spend 10 to 15 hours on a custom city, which we had to redo because the deformer stuff on it broke because I did an oopsie. And it just, for the power trip on what it was, I got bored of it. Have someone else spend the time doing it. I don't feel like it. Oh, I'm gonna be honest, if you can build a kick-ass mission, just sit down 20 minutes and just come up with a freaking story and you'll be fine. Like, you don't need to give any serious effort into that, to be perfectly honest. Too many people come up with these crazy stories and then have no way to execute the features. Rather just, if you're working with another community, take their mod set, see what's in it, and then work with that, and then just, after you build a mission, just build a story behind it and you'll be freaking golden. That's all you need to do. Legit. That's how I do it these days, because it's just so much easier. Alright, we've got, I think, yeah, I only put down templating for one more trench line. And that can either be a line with a little corner or, I mean, this is also hilly terrain right here, so I'm going to have to put this one a little more in. But that should be fine. Honestly, I should just select all the hide terrain modules at the end and then sync it accordingly. Damn, bro, I just want to go back and play Fallout New Vegas right now. I don't know why. I've just been having a craving for that game recently. I recently found out two things. One, there's a giant sewer system under New Vegas. I knew of some of it. I didn't realize it went all the way to frickin' Camp McCarran. But if you do stuff in there as a level 1, it's kind of silly. But then you can get a legendary lead pipe called the Humble Cudgel and literally beat the shit out of people with it, and it's kind of funny and satisfying. Not necessarily on the very hard difficulty, but on a normal difficulty, it's fun. And then second thing I learned was 12.7 submachine gun has a suppressor. And you can sneak attack crit with that suppressor. I already knew that. And then, you know, like stealth kill people. But you can just do that with the 12.7 submachine gun. Normally I would just do that with Rat Slayer. And then I'd graduate to the suppressed anti-material rifle and do all my stealth killing that way. But no, you can just 12.7 everybody. And no one will give a shit as long as you're hitting. It's such a scummy way to play, and I absolutely love it. Because the challenge becomes, how can I stealth kill everyone in this building and lose no reputation? I don't always succeed, so that's why they've got the Ambassador Crocker quest, and that's why they have the Caesar's Legion quest. So even if you screw it up, you're fine. And then, of course, if you want high weaponry, you just go to the boomers and you frickin' farm Mrs. Fatman. Every 3 days, you get 3 mini nukes to play with for free. Alright, that one looks good. I really am debating another trench line right here. It's just gonna have to be curved, which I don't particularly appreciate. It means I'm gonna have to have like a non-bunker, but we do have a non-bunker variant, so I'm just gonna go for it. F it. It needs that little bit of extra coverage. It's just, I'm gonna put it facing the airfield because whatever. Randomly decide where this module goes. Why? Because screw you. Alright, so open line for a machine gun turret if I want it. And that's all of that set. Now it's a matter of what do I want to make and where do I want to make it. I think the artillery should be up here. Because it's relatively close to the counter battery radar, so that's fine. I just need to remember the artillery fighting positions, because I think there are some pre-made ones. Yeah, you've got this if you want it. I mean, that's a pretty meh position. I'd rather use the earth ramparts, but... yeah, no, if we're going to be doing that, might as well grab this. And I'm going to change this up a little bit. Instead of a bunker, I'm going to put... there's a certain type of camo net I want. Oh, God. Pooks is a little too big for me. Did I call it camouflage? No, okay, let me just go up. Camo, there's a U. Oh, you little shit. Utilizing the fact that I can't spell properly, eh? Well, damn it. You got me, but you don't gotta be a dick about it. Now we just redeform all the parts. Yes, I know there's hotkeys for them. I'm just a lazy piece of shit. I'm sorry. But man, I just got the pulse rifle. I'm gonna go through the Old World Blues DLC, just zapping the shit out of everything. And no one can stop me. And I will once again learn about Richie Marcus. Alright, let's see. How do I want to do this? I guess the really fun thing to do would turn them into direct fire vehicles and have them completely taken. And then put ammo Vicks behind them and technically just give them infinite ammo because I'm an evil, evil Zeus. Or... I'm only going to do it for one of them. Because we'll say that was something they were working on in progress or blah blah. Okay, if we're going to do that, I need to line it up with the camo net. one of the turnout textures here. I'll put all my like the memes I can put in, I'll put in. Because again, I don't throw the term magnum opus out lightly. I have an idea. I'm just not 100% sure if it's going to be viable. But it's getting me thinking. Nah, it's too low. I could just cover it with bushes. Like that, and then have bushes on the side. And I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to get away with it. Okay. Alright, bear with me. Bear with me. It's not going to be that one, though. It's going to be the ones on the bunker lines. These bad boys. Mwah. Okay. I'm going to four-way intersect. Because I don't have just a singular lawn tunnel, right? I do, but it's only for the additional... Okay. Okay. Alright. Hold up. This is where we're going to play a little bit of experimentation. Wait. Okay. I don't mind having a guy stand... Well, no, it's going to be low at that point. dead-ended on those sides. Oh yeah, it's gonna require some deform jobs. Alright, so this is where I will set a height limiter. Because it's needed. What the fuck? There we go. I was like, why is the button not working? Alright. Just to set my template proper. It's too big. Okay. So I just don't want that steep of a slope, and if it's going to be steep, I want it to match that over there. Perfect. Okay. Now the fun part. And I say that with a little bit of sarcasm. Okay. That's good. Yeah, here's where it's going to get interesting. Now, if I could set size to 1 instead of 10, this would literally just be setting height limiters, deforming everything, then setting another height limiter on the very edges of the texture, and then bringing it back up to normal level, and then boom, you're done. Unfortunately, you can only do that on super small maps. So I'm going to do my best to clear out what I can in here, and then I'm just going to fix things on the surface, and if I have to paste more textures to fix it, so be it. Because I think that's what I'm going to have to do for this, because looking at the outside, I can already tell you it's going to be... There's going to be edges showing. Yeah. And if I smooth it, it's just going to make it worse. So, hell, let me just try that, like, from a standpoint of F it. That is literally... You are bypassing that limit, sir. Oh, that's why. Okay. Out here, then. Okay, it's actually working a little better than I thought it would. But there's still some exposed areas. Well, I know, but if I smooth from the lower area, it's going to smooth in here again and completely undo all my work. And I don't want that, Colonel. So you know what? I am just going to do the lazy method. Because at this point, we might as hell commit. What the fuck? There we go. You know what the funny thing is? I'm going to jinx myself and say that this is just going to cause the textures completely bug out and not be usable interiorly, and I'm just going to go, okay. Rest in peace. Because I'm really worried about the hitbox actually going into it. So I'll drag it out a little right there, but beyond that, yeah. That's why I said I'm only doing it to 1. Because it makes like a pseudo command room as well, and that's probably where I'll also design a little command room. Yeah, everything else in there is viable, so I'll drag it over here. No jinxing, right? No fighting me on the texture alignment, too. Come on, game. Alright, cool. I would like to make some sort of communications position as well. I can also make a tunnel depot in there, but I also want to make a trench fighting position. So I'm debating one in here, but at the same time, it doesn't have the cover. It would just get bombed to hell. So I'd probably put it in the low trees over here, or I would design one internally right here. Decisions. I think for now, the best we can do is let's put a Zeus unit down and get our things tested and see that we're on the right track. Where are we? We're at an hour 30, so literally, I'm going to be honest, this is playable. It's not to the level of time commitment where it's going to take over an hour, though. And that's going to require just more custom trench positions placed in the AO. But let's test the ones that already exist and go from there. Because this op is going to be a go in, retake the position, and then fend off an enemy counterattack. So it needs to be at least an hour to an hour 15 of clearing everything, and then 30 to 45 minutes of a counterattack. That's the easy part. The hard part is creating all the areas. I am going to set the bunkers. Someone remind me to set those two barracks buildings, though, to invincible. Because we had an instance where, like, a 10-person mass cas happened in that bunker because it got blown up by, like, 3 GLs. And that also ruins all the textures inside that are placed by ZEI. So it's just better to set it all to invincible. And then I'm also thinking of adding something here. That's just maybe a simple cache. Yeah, from above it's really easy to see that this is something. But again, we want them to be able to find them. Because otherwise, where's the fun in that? I also totally want to make a corner with like a bunch of dead friendlies. Alright, that's not trippy at all, but yeah, those are filled. So we'll just fill these with mortar shells and artillery shells and blah, blah, blah. More artillery shell room. What the fuck was just behind me? Did you hear that whisper? Okay, no. No, 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 no. No, no. You heard that whisper and saw that thing, right? No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Someone clip that, please. Some clip it. I want to see it. Because I thought that was like my gun or my leg or something, and then I heard the whisper first, and then saw that. What could that have been, though? I'm just freaking out over nothing. Whatever. That was weird. There was a leg behind me, yeah. But the only time I can see my leg is when I look down. Can you post the clip in here? I want to look at it myself. No, but just Octo post the fucking clip. I need to look at it, man. That was weird. This is good, though, and I want it to be light on the terrain aspect. Because I need room to store the actual OP4 infantry. But no, this is good. Okay, one second. Hold on. Hold on. Corner with like a bunch of dead friendlies. So we'll just fill the artillery shells and blah, blah, blah. More artillery shell room. There's the whisper. What? Yeah, what the fuck? What the fuck is that behind me? Yeah, something's following me.
Or artillery shell room.
What the fuck? Because there's my radio. It wasn't the radio, though. Like, I'm literally... Nothing on me matched it. Maybe it was the pouch? But... Like, I'm trying to get something to clip. Because it's not... I think, so the dynamic radio chatter is my character, though. Okay. Crouch, stand, and look behind you quickly. So crouch. I have no fucking idea, dude. Because I was thinking maybe it was these, but it was like in the ground below me. Like it wasn't... Maybe it was that? Hold on. Hold on, I think it was that. Valk has a picture of it. I'm thinking it had to have been the vine then.
Corner with like a bunch of devils and artillery shells, blah blah blah. Or artillery shell room.
Yeah, I'm right on top of one.
Shell room.
Yeah, I stop. Okay. Okay, that scared the shit out of me. Jesus fucking Christ. It was like perfectly... I can't even recreate the angle. It was literally this one, though. I turn around, and it literally faded. But it somehow, like... Did I cough? Jesus fucking Christ. All right. Some hero Brian. Yeah, I haven't heard that term in a hot second. Good God. All right, those two are good. We could put... Yeah, right, at this point, just go to bed. We could put... I'm going to mark a few places where we could put some custom entrenchment areas. But let's get these buildings set first. We don't want to disable simulation because then you can't open the doors. You want to only disable damage on them. All right, so where would we want to put? Let me get my markers here. We're gonna want run right there. We're gonna want underground area there. We could potentially put another one in there. I think the server will be able to handle a few of them, though, which is nice. Overwatch AT point there. Like a little fortification tower there. Two little micro trench networks there. Micro trench there. Down here it's a bit tough because you have the runway in the way. Into a radar position. Surrounded by a bunker trench network. And we could do that. And I think all of that clearing through the forested areas there should, in theory, give it enough time. Yeah. So Overwatch AT position, that one's the easiest. That one is literally just going to be a woodland fortification, smaller, medium, and I want a 2-story cargo tower. Not a watchtower. There's something very specific I want, but I might need to pull it from Vanilla Military Pacific. Yeah, tower bunker. And then I can also add something where they're putting, like, all the vehicles on it to block it. No, that's what we can do. We can say they take the airport and they have an hour 15 before hostile planes start attempting to land on it. So they would be keeping it open. And then they block. Oh, yeah, no, that could totally be something. So I would need a vehicle storage depot. And then here I would just put like an SPG-9. The thing is, I do like these tower bunkers though, because they will allow me to set up some really nasty positions. Like GMG level nasty. I mean, that could also work, Yoshi, but I'm not going to have anything on the runway. I might have some wrecked planes, like, set up in here, for example. I could set up another thing or two as well. It's just I'm trying to space out the AI, space out everything to make it more difficult. But I'm starting to get in this mindset of I've got a decent framework here, and it could go either way. I want to at least add the radar position too, but yeah, no, this is definitely a good start. Let's see, we spent an hour 45 on it. Honestly, these additional positions are going to take another hour to hour 45 because some of them are going to require some custom deforming. And then I could literally just copy-paste some of the exact bunker networks I made on the... Yeah, actually, fuck it. Let me go grab that real quick. I could literally use the exact same one, too, in all honesty. I could also copy them with the exact same garrison and save even more time with that. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's perfect. Ooh, I'm gonna make blood-winged Swedish pancakes tomorrow morning. I think that'll be a winner. Oh, and I do need to copy the templates anyway, so I guess I might as well grab those now. Yeah, it's just, I like this forest area because it was super thick and it was really hard for air to know. Perfect. And then we can just copy and paste that and just reuse that bunker config because not everyone got to assault it. So it might be a little repetitive in some parts, but that's going to save me, honestly, half an hour of dev to a full hour. And even more time on the garrison framework because the garrison's already down. I'm still going to have to deform it, though. Well, I'm trying to go and explore Lab X18. Unfortunately, I keep getting murdered by people. It's funny. Okay. I already set the buildings, the 2 barracks buildings that need to be set as indestructible. I already covered that. I'll try keeping you alive with bits, yeah. And guys, the reason I want to get this mission file done by Wednesday is I want to then work on pay for pain for this Saturday. and I want to get that released by Wednesday and then finished by Thursday. And this is on top of all the other mission files I have to stream. Alright. Shit. Try that again. Fuck, it's fine. Let's go copy paste it later. But you're also all misaligned. What the fuck? What the fuck? Well, no, that completely screwed my copy paste up. Alright, I'm making silly mistakes now. Alright. Silly mistakes, I need to take a break. But yeah, no, already an hour 45. I'll copy and paste those into there in that position. We'll make a custom version of the small trenches with this. I'm thinking maybe literally like this, and then I cut both of those and I put a bunker on each side. And then I just copy and paste that in all of, you know, F it, I can do that right now. Liru won't quit over something so basic. And then that gives me the option to put static guns on him if I want to, which is always a plus. Yeah, actually, I'm just going to put them on the ends. And then we can just route that out, and then we should be good to go. So let's go ahead and get that set for all the positions we'd want to do that with. So up here. And then we verify the layering. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then the trick is basically to blend it in with the trees as much as you can for some proper hard cover to prevent air from just outright striking the position. That I don't mind a little bit of foliage cover coming in. Just has to be believable. And if it's not believable, then it has to be fair. But then again, it's a, you know, it's a proper milsim, so they want it to be believable. Radar position. Let's get that sorted real quick. Now, do I want field radar? Yeah. We just want this under woodland. Honestly, just plop this down and call it a day. Delete some of the internal detail. Honestly, I think that's fine. Like, just plop that down. And it gives Air some hard targets to immediately hone in on, you know? If it was just this, I'd put a few fortified positions around it, but it's fine the way it is, you know? Because you want an open position for your radar anyway. You know what? I'm going to stop it at 2 hours, but let's go ahead and recopy and paste those bunker complexes in. And that just leaves the depot and then talking with Karma and Muskel about how they want to do this up. But I can at least get those bunker complexes in and size them accordingly. But I think between all of those and all the other positions on the map, that should take an hour and a half to hit. And my excuse for them hitting it as a single platoon only is they are just the only available QRF to hit it, and this is supposed to be the last modern mission anyway, so it's meant to be a challenge. You know? So let's go. Magnum opus. That means there's only going to be 2 dedicated underground sections, which are both relatively short, but at the same time, I don't really have a lot to work with those tunnels. No offense to the tunnels. I would love to maybe have northern Takistan stuff, but at the same time, that's for desert stuff. That's not really woodland stuff. So I'm limited with that shit. It's literally 3 textures. It's an entryway. It's an actual tunnel, like, entryway that you have to sync with a trench entryway. And then you have a single line with 2 dugout areas for storage, or beds, or whatever the frickety frack. And then you've got a T intersection, and then a 4-way intersection. You don't even have corners. You don't even have tunnel lines that don't have those extra things. Like, it's missing some key stuff, or dead ends. So you don't have to deform the dead end, you know? It's lacking. Alright, let's turn these off. Boom. So I would need to level the terrain. But again, it's not thick forest, so it stands out like a sore freaking thumb. Right off the bat, though, I want to rotate it 90 degrees. Not that 90. And then this one will also rotate 90 degrees. And then I'll make a 3rd underground area over here. So the next time we do this, it will be deforming and setting those, making the vehicle storage area, making that 3rd little underground corner right there. And then, yeah, all right. So I'm going to go give a progress report. And And yeah, no, should be good with that. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to work on some more video editing because I have two 4 terabyte storage drives filled with footage. And I did edit like 300 gigs today, but I can edit more. So, and I still have a kitchen to go clean upstairs. So, thank you so much for watching. Go operate operationally. Enjoy the rest of the day or night. Cheers. And have a good one. Keep the door closed tonight. It's just a video game. It's not like something's going to jump me. Unless it's Bloodwind.